How vitally important is sponsorships to Complex Con?
In terms of like the profitability or how?
Profitability, ability to actually throw the event, like,
Yeah.
because you said, like, you didn't want to rely too much on that from the content perspective, because anything can happen.
It's super important. So if you didn't have the mix of sponsorship revenues, merch, like commerce revenues on site, and ticketing, it would be impossible to make it profitable. Like doing it on ticketing alone or merch, just the cost of production on this thing is in the tens of millions. It's not like, Rolling Loud, great business, but it's like a couple stages. They're not, it's not all these like super hyper developed experiences that cost, millions of dollars to build. And, without the sponsors, it would be, impossible to make it a profitable business. And the same without the ticketing revenue or without the merch revenue. So it has to all come together. And that's sort of my point, is like, before Complex was on one-legged stool, just like ad revenue. And that's why it, sold a couple times, right? And we really have a vision to making it a three-legged stool with content, commerce, and experiences feeding into that three-legged stool, thus making it more stable. And, Complex, I think, 22-ish or 21 years old now, but like we want to future-proof it for the next 50 years. So it's a strong, vibrant, thriving brand.
Is there any subscription model in there?
Not currently, but down the road we want to build a business for like the super fans of Complex around access, like early access to e-commerce drops, special access to things like Complex Con or activations we might do at Art Basel or F1. Also, it could even be things like, hey, if you're part of this membership cohort, there's a special track of programming and special ticketing price for InvestFest or things like that we could do with partners. But it'll all be about, like we were talking about before, access. Like this consumer thrives for access. Either like they want to experience the content to sort of get that like intellectual like ammunition. So they like, okay, yeah, I know what's up with that. Or they want to buy something. So it's like badging and it's like proof that you experience something. And then in sort of the physical space, like they don't want to wait online, as we were talking about before. Like you want to get
Fast
in.
pass.
You want the guy at Disney that's walking you in front of the whole lines, right? And like and that also creates social ammunition for you. If you're like, oh, like I got in right away, I had this amazing thing, and I got the merch. Like then you return to the work and you're on the water cooler at school or whatever you're doing, and you have like the story that you can tell about it. You've got the physical badging, and you had a great experience. That's the win for consumers.
You brought up two great words, sponsors and partners. And to me, when I think sponsors, I think short-term relationship. Partners, I feel like there's longevity where they're going to be at Complex Con or wherever event it is, 3, 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
How do you guys approach brands when you're thinking about that? Like this company is up and coming. This might be a good sponsor, as opposed to that brand has been here. We need to partner with them to figure out how to build this.
I would say that I think we look at it along those lines, right? There's a group of brands and people that buy advertising that what they're doing is very tactical. They're trying to promote TuneIn for their TV show or their streaming show this Friday, right? Like those people, I would say, are like more in the sponsor arena, right? And then there's brands that have they share a similar consumer they're trying to target. They're trying to do interesting things in the space. I'm thinking like a Nike or Adidas, where you can take it a bit deeper and you can become real partners. And they're not coming and saying, hey guys, we need to do this thing in the next 90 days. Here it is. Go execute for us. They're actually bringing us and saying like, hey, this is our product roadmap for the next 3 years. What do you think? Can you help us with consumer insights? Can you help us build out a plan to make Air Force One vibrant again, or whatever that case might be?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's, some brands will never be in the space that they share like a common kind of DNA as you. And I mean, obviously they're very different, but like brands that want, like I would say like Sprite back in the day was a brand that really wanted to participate in our space. So like that was a brand that made a lot of sense to be a partner with and be long-term with, where maybe like some of the water brands, they're just coming in and out of the market. That's not going to be a long-term partnership.